June 1987, in Trepua, Italy, Father Gabriele Amorth, the Pope's personal exorcist, drives into the home of a possessed young man on a scooter. Amorth interacts with the man's sister before discovering him in his bedroom. He claims to be the devil himself and speaks to Amorth. Amorth mocks the demon, telling him that he isn't powerful enough to control a pig Amorth brought with him. The demon accepts Amorth's challenge and leaves the man's body to possess the pig, only to be killed by one of Amorth's associates with a shotgun blow to the head. Later, in Castilla, Spain, a family arrives including mother Julia and children Amy and Henry. Julia's late husband left her family and abbey, which they are attempting to restore and sell. Because he witnessed his father's death in a horrible vehicle accident, Henry has not spoken since. Henry explores the mansion and discovers a hidden room containing an intriguing artifact. Meanwhile, Julia asks Amy to assist her with Henry despite her moodiness. The next day, Amorth arrives in Rome to meet with church officials about the exorcism in Trepua, which he performed without their consent. Amorth has one ally, Bishop Lulumba, but he is opposed to Cardinal Sullivan, who believes in demonic possession. Amorth claims that evil exists, citing Rosaria, a lady who was possessed but died when Amorth failed to save her. He storms out of the meeting, infuriating Sullivan even more. The men working on the abbey approach Henry's location, and one of them ignites a flare in the open area, causing an explosion that injured them. Something malevolent seemed to have awakened from the point as Henry begins to experience seizures, while Julia and Amy witness. For the first time since the accident, Henry talks.
Mommy, he's talking.
Telling his mother and sister that they will die before the scratches at his own face. Julia administers tests to Henry, but his vital shows normal. Back at home, Amy cares to him while he warms up, but odd things begin to happen. Henry lifts his shirt, displaying the word hate scrawled onto his abdomen. Then Henry yells in a demonic voice, "Bring me the priest." Julia summons Father Thomas Esquivel, but Henry's demonic energy tosses Thomas against the wall, yelling, "Wrong effing priest." Amorth pays a visit to the Pope. They debate the other church leaders' disbelief, but the Pope claims that he and Amorth know the truth.
There's a case that needs your attention.
The Pope informs Amorth of Henry's possession, believing that he is the only one capable of driving out the evil, but cautioning him that this demon is extremely dangerous. Amorth flies to Spain on his scooter and arrives to the abbey, when he meets Thomas, Julia, and Amy. Thomas has heard of Amorth and his works, though he hasn't read them, though Amorth believes they are good. Amorth visits Henry while conversing with the devil. It mocks Amorth and declares that it wants to take up the task of inhibiting an exorcism. While Amorth maintains his cool most of the time, the demon may access his memories of himself in the battle and surviving a gunshot wound. The monster then forces Henry to eat a dead bird. The entity causes serious concern for Amorth. Amorth approaches Julia and attempts to reassure her that they can save Henry via faith. The devil then begins to torture Amy by making her hear a father's voice and making a nasty phone call. Despite his lack of expertise as the exorcist, Thomas joins Amorth in the exorcism. The devil manipulates Amorth's mind by sending him picture of Rosaria, telling him how he failed, and teasing Thomas about a lady with whom he had extramarital affairs.
You don't want to be here, Thomas.
This prompts Thomas to grab Henry and try to choke him. According to the demon, Amorth has eaten its bait. Thomas confides in Amorth that the woman, Adela, was the love of his life, but that he regrets breaking his commitment to the clothes. Amorth says they need to find out the name of the demon in order to save Henry before it kills him. Amorth departs, leaving Thomas to keep a watch on the family as he checks a nearby well. Amorth drops a burning piece of paper down it, causing a tremendous eruption of flames. The monster continues its assault in the home, biting part of Thomas' ear off while attempting to lure Julia into her bed and throwing Amy about the room. Julia and Amy are brought into the abbey to sleep by the priests. Amorth leads Thomas to the wall to investigate the demon's origins, while the Pope examined records pertaining to the abbey's past back in Rome. Before being transferred to the hospital, he falls ill and faints. The Pope attempts to deliver a message for Amorth to Lumumba and Sullivan, only to spit blood in Sullivan's face. The priest discovered thumbs where non-converts were murdered and buried, as well as one guy who locked himself in a cage for the sake of others' safety. Amorth discovers a key that leads them into the tombs in that man's body.
It works.
He and Thomas discovered the body of a Spanish Inquisition founder who was also an exorcist, finding that he was possessed and infiltrated the church, much as the devil is attempting to do now by assembling an army of possessed victims. While this is going on, the devil manages to control both Amy and Henry. Thomas discovers a book and shows it to the Amorth, revealing the name of the demon, Asmodeus. Amy's possession is shattered once she speaks. Asmodeus is deliberately pursuing Amorth since he is the closest to the Pope. Thomas understands. Amorth tells Thomas about his wartime experiences and survivor's guilt, as well as his regrets about failing to save Rosaria, since he assumed she was only mentally sick, but she leaped to her death in front of him. Rosaria's death exposed some church act, and Amorth feels terrible for not assisting her when she needed it. Amorth begs forgiveness, and Thomas grants it. Amorth and Thomas assemble Julia and Amy in preparation for the ultimate rescue of Henry. Asmodeus taunts the priest, stating there is no way to save the kid, and his visage becomes even more horrible. Asmodeus teases them even more with visions of Rosaria and Adela, but the priest remains focused. Henry's true voice begins to emerge, but he has been weakened by the demon's influence. Before controlling Amy again and having her assault Julia, it caves "God is not here" on Henry's torso. Amorth gives up and lets Asmodeus take over his body, rescuing Thomas and the family. The Pope wakes up and realizes Amorth is in jeopardy while Amorth is possessed.
Get them out of it. Go!
Thomas takes Julia and the kids out of the home. Amorth tries to hang himself to get rid of the demon, but Asmodeus' strength has risen and is wreaking havoc on the house. It drives Amorth down into the tomb, where Thomas finds him and begs him to resist the demon's control. Amorth witnesses another demonic vision of Rosaria emerging from the earth. As the devil tries to destroy the church via Amorth, Thomas joins the fight. More demonic images of Rosaria and Adela threatens the priest, but Thomas throws a crucifix at Amorth, and the two of them drive Asmodeus into a black pit, where the demon is expelled to hell. Amorth thanks Thomas before sleeping from his flask. Amorth returns to Rome with Thomas to meet with the Pope.
Thanks to you both. I'm glad to see you.
He asks a report on Spain and informs Amorth that Sullivan has taken a sabbatical in Guam after being possessed by the devil, and he has been replaced by Lumumba. He informs Amorth and Thomas that they are being dispatched to additional locations of domestic possession in order to resist the devil's activity. Amorth declares to Thomas, "We are going to hell." According to the closing sentence, Father Gabriele Amorth continued to aid people until his death in 2016. He wrote several books, and the passage concludes, "The book are good." Following the credits, a photograph of the genuine Amorth is presented. I hope you liked the movie. Please let me know what movie you want me to recap, and yes, I will do it for you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. See the next movie.